All right. Thank you so much for coming to Wellness Wednesday. I do these calls every Wednesday because I want to inspire healthy living. That is our mission and our company. And today we are going to talk about brain tumors. I'm going to share my brain tumor journey, and we're going to talk about brain health. Dr. Doug Odom is here. He's going to be sharing brain health and gut health because all health really begins in the gut. So we'll learn more about that today. If you have a pen and paper, you will probably want to take notes. Every time I hear Dr. Odom, I get something new. And sometimes I just need to hear it over and over again because the more I hear it, the better I do. Sometimes you think you know it, but you hear it again and again. It just makes more sense, and it just really helps you develop healthier habits and a healthier lifestyle, which is what we want to promote. So for anybody who is new to this, my name is Angel Faulk. I'm the fitness angel, and I love all things fitness and health, and I'm going to share my journey. I am a brain tumor survivor. I'm very grateful for that. So I just want to share my story, and then Dr. Odom will do the teaching. If you have questions, write them out, and if we have time at the end, we'll try to answer some of those. And then if it gets too long, I can get back with you personally, and Dr. Odom and I can share more later. So I want to respect everyone's time, so I'm going to get in it. Y'all, my health journey really started in 2012. I was into fitness, which many of us have learned there's really a difference between being fit and being healthy. You want to be both, of course. But I have been focusing on fitness for many, many years. I was a school teacher, loved aerobics and working out. Then I became a stay-at-home mom, and I wanted to go to the gym. So to pay for that, I got a job at the gym, right? So my first job there was folding towels and greeting people, which I loved, but I was one of those front row, on the step, jumping around, twirling around, loved it. And the coordinator said, "You need to be teaching classes." And I was like, "You're right." So I got all these certifications, taught classes, loved it. And fitness was really my passion. And I was still drinking Diet Cokes and trying to be skinny, doing all the cardio. And really, I did not know that was slowly killing me. I was overdoing it. And so when I was, how old was I? In 2006, I don't know how old I was, but in 2006, I started losing some hearing. I went to the doctor, we did a hearing test, and the ear, nose, and throat doctor said, "Well, I do see some hearing loss, but let's just keep an eye on it." And I always recommend everybody, if something's not working, try to find out why. I should have immediately started seeking, but I didn't. And so time went on, and my hearing got worse and worse. And then in 2009, I heard a crunching sound and was completely deaf. My auditory nerve was completely crushed by a brain tumor. And when I went and got the MRI, we were devastated, of course. The good news was it was a benign tumor, but due to the location, it was on my brain stem, and it had tails twirling, intermingling with all the nerves keeping me alive. And that is why I lost my auditory nerve. So I had a 14-hour brain surgery, and I had two neurosurgeons here in Nashville at Vanderbilt, and they tag teamed. It was very intense. Some doctors wouldn't touch it, they said, but they felt confident and told me it may be a year and a half before I was back to normal again, teaching my classes, living life as normal. But I will say, while I was in ICU, the nurses said, "I've never seen anybody with such a strong heart." So being fit is important. We need to be strong and healthy and get our exercise. I had to relearn to walk, talk, swallow. I had physical therapy. I was paralyzed on the right side. Lost my facial nerve. You can see it's damaged. All these things, y'all. I had to do all kinds of therapy, occupational therapy, every kind of therapy you could think of. And my eye was popped open. It would not close. And that was one of the most painful things. I've never even thought about it before, but that really was a problem, really was an issue. And my mother-in-law's on here, Vivian, and she had to come take care of me and my kids. And I had so many wonderful friends take care of me. And it was really a hard time, hard season of life. But y'all, I was back in the gym at 6 weeks. My husband had to drive me, of course, and prop me against the wall and give me some dumbbells, but I was determined to get back to the gym and back to working out because that's my happy place. We were all devastated at my 1-year checkup to learn the tumor had grown back. So I know I'm moving in this fast, but I want y'all all to know I had to have radiation after that. And that's when I got really, really sick. So I still was not getting the concept of something's missing in my life, something healthy that I'm missing, a healthy step, a healthy habit. And that is when I started doing my research and found that every doctor agreed we need more fruits and vegetables. So even though it was a benign tumor, and there's many, many, many kinds of brain tumors, and this is Brain Tumor Awareness Month, they still told me this could kill me. So even when you have something benign, it can be life-threatening, and a lot of people are not aware of that. And there's many different types of tumors, and it depends on where it's located according to what damage is being done. So I had the radiation. I got really, really sick. I lost a lot of muscle mass. I lost my hair. I had spots all over my face because it was, put right there in my brainstem. And that was scary. And I know we have one guest on here today who's enduring those things now. But, I just always had faith that God was with me through it all. Somehow my faith really got me through, because even before my surgery, they told me to plan ahead because I was homeschooling at the time. And they said, plan ahead because life's going to be very different. So I was in a Bible study on faith. And I remember just hearing the voice of the Lord in my heart say, your faith has made you whole. And then the other thing was, you will be pleasantly surprised. And I wasn't sure what that would mean, but God has done so many good things through this. And when I was recovering from my radiation, when I was so sick, I just knew somehow I would get through this, either straight into the arms of Jesus or on this earth. And I always say, if you're on this earth, you have a purpose. And whatever pain you've been through, let it become a passion and a purpose to help other people. And that's kind of when I started this whole healthy living journey. I was doing my research, found we need more fruits and vegetables. I found a nurse who shared Juice Plus with me. And she said, this is fruits and vegetables that are juiced. We take the water and sugar out and put it in a capsule. And your kids can get gummies absolutely free. So it was like, okay, this is a no-brainer. I can't eat enough, because I was really trying better to eat more plant foods. But once I started Juice Plus and I got in the community, started learning more from all of our doctors, our nurses. I know we've got some nurses on here. Just educating myself too, doing my own research. I found out this was like magical. And then I started wanting to share it. And now that's why I do these Zoom calls. That's why I'm always, you see me on social media promoting healthy living. I know this is so important. And if you can eat, 20 servings or more, if you are fighting a chronic illness, they say 20 servings or more. And that is tough. But if you can do that, you go for it. We found an easy way. And that's what I wanted to share with everybody. And also, we say eat your fruits and vegetables, but we don't always know why eat your fruits and vegetables. And that is why I have invited Dr. Odom here, because he's going to teach you why you need all these fruits and vegetables and what they can do for you. And we want to learn about brain health, but really it starts in your gut. There's a connection in the brain and the gut. And I'm so excited Dr. Odom is going to share with us now. He's going to teach, and he is a retired OBGYN. He delivered over 17,000 babies. He was medical director of an anti-aging clinic, which I know most of us really care about that. We want to slow down the aging process. And he's full of wisdom. And I love having him teach on this subject because it's changed my life. So I hope that you are ready. And Dr. Odom, you can unmute yourself. I'll mute myself. And you can just tell us everything we need to know.
Well, great. Well, thank you. Thanks for that intro and that segue. And thank you, ladies, for all being on this call. And I'm going to break it down to just a few concepts. And this is the essence of optimal health and anti-aging. Number one, we eat too many calories. Number two, we don't move enough. And forget about teaching 3, 4, 5 classes a day. Just get out of the chair, leave the house, go around the block. So that's number two. Number three, we don't eat enough of the right foods. Most of us get plenty of calories, but we don't get nutrition. And the primary source for nutrition, primary source, is plant food. So a diet that is plant strong is what's highly recommended. And Lydia, thank you again. But here's my one visual for the day. And what this is saying, this is what we should be eating. It's myplate.gov. It takes the place of the food guide pyramid that we used to have. And what's recommended is 87.5% of every plate, every meal, every day should be plant food. So of course that's highly critical for those of us that are trying to improve our health to the position of being optimal. We know that there are certain foods that literally tear our body down, that do not build it up. And we know that two of these food groups are dairy and gluten, and it's because they're so inflammatory. So inflammation is the common factor, the common denominator for all chronic diseases, including those in the brain, and brain health is our topic today. And the brain is somewhat unique. It's over 60% fat. So we really need to be taking care of our brains, because not only is dementia epidemic and Alzheimer's is epidemic, there are over 5 million Americans today with a diagnosis of Alzheimer's, and that's going to double within the next decade. And why is all of this? Because of two things. One is inflammation and deficiencies, and the other is toxicity. So most of the foods that we eat have been sprayed with chemicals, and there are over 30 foods that have been genetically modified so they can be sprayed with these chemicals. I'm talking primarily about Roundup, and the primary ingredient in Roundup is called glyphosate. So if you haven't heard both of those terms, it's one and the same. But what we're finding is that people that have gluten issues, and I know there's at least one person on this call that has been diagnosed with a mild case maybe of celiac, but all of us have issues digesting gluten. And what we know today is that there's a synergy between gluten and how it interferes with our intestinal mucosa, and the synergy of Roundup or glyphosate, how it also emphasizes the destruction or inflammation of our gut bacteria, or excuse me, our gut lining, that do affect our gut bacteria. So as you said, Angel, everything literally revolves around everything regarding our health revolves around what's going on in our intestinal tract, our digestive tract. We call it just the gut. But we're learning and finding so many valuable tips and parts of information how this big puzzle in our digestive tract is synchronized and harmonized. So those are the concepts. But the big thing that we all need to be avoiding, like it's poison, and a lot of you have heard me say that sugar is poison, and it is sugar and sugar substitutes and simple carbs and processed food that is full of sugar that literally has changed our lives in my lifetime, and in probably most of you that are on this call's lifetime. And because we eat far too much of the sugar, and it's not just the sugar, it's the insulin that when we have an abundance of sugar, we have an increase in insulin production, and insulin causes increased cellular growth, tissue growth. So it's insulin along with sugar, and we break down this sugar from all the foods that we eat. And if our diet is primarily carbohydrate, which it is, then it's broken down to sugar much more readily and much more easily. And because of that, we have more of this insulin that we have to deal with. And insulin is also your fat storage hormone. So probably not one person on this call is worried about not gaining weight. Most of us want to shed some weight. And I say, don't talk about shedding weight, but talk about shedding fat. And so what is one of the best things that we can do so that we don't have to deal with the inflammation from eating sugar? And of course, this is called read my mind here. But all of us are consuming far too many calories. All of us are not only consuming too many calories, but we're eating too often. So there are so many benefits that we can all derive by just not eating. And the number one strategy for living longer is caloric restriction. So if we just stop eating calories, and if we could, or at least cut way back, but even more importantly than that, if we could just not eat so often. So a lot of you have heard me talk about intermittent fasting or about decreasing your eating window to 6 or 8 hours. That means if you think about our Shred 10, think about eating your first meal of the day later in the day, not the first thing when you wake up, you start eating, and then eating your last meal of the day early in the afternoon or early evening, so that you're not eating after 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and not eating again till at least 6 or 7 in the morning. But if you can put that off till 9 or 10, or for some of us even until closer to 12 o'clock, there are so many benefits. How many of you are having any aches and pains? How many of you would love to have new cartilage? How many of you would love to have new disc in your back? How many of you would love to have whatever you're dealing with to have it healed? Well, the cornerstone for healing is called stem cells, and there are a lot of people that have had cancer, especially breast cancer, that have received stem cell treatment. But you know, you can make your own stem cells, and one of the best ways, if not the best way, is just to not eat. And I'm not saying don't eat for 40 days like Jesus did, but just to not eat so often and to spread your eating window to narrow it down so that we aren't eating so often. So where should we get our calories if not from these carbs? And everybody today is talking about how damaging and how hurtful and how destructive carbs are. There's so many people that are on this diet and that diet, and they're limiting their carbs. And 30, 40 years ago, a guy named Robert Atkins wrote a book about the Atkins diet and how to lose weight. He said, just don't eat carbs. What he neglected to say was don't eat simple carbs. Eat your complex carbs, because complex carbs are what we all are eating that know about Juice Plus, and that's fruits and vegetables and legumes and seeds and beans and nuts. Those are complex carbs because they have fiber. And fiber is the hidden nutrient that is missing in the American diet. And if you want to have a healthy brain, you need to have a healthy gut. And if you want to have a healthy gut, you need to have a healthy balance of beneficial and non-beneficial bacteria. And these beneficial are called probiotics. And so many people, I was one of them, who thought that all I need to do is to take probiotics and to have a handful of different species of beneficial bacteria. And what we're finding is that is as harmful and damaging as if you're taking an antibiotic. So a probiotic functions like an antibiotic in that it is reducing the diversity in your gut. So when I started a minute ago by saying variety of plant foods, variety of vegetables, variety of every food that we eat, we need different colors, we need different textures, but we need to eat a large variety. And to change the foods that we eat, don't eat the same ones over and over and over again. But a large variety of plant food gives us a large variety of micronutrients, also called phytonutrients. And these phytonutrients are what feed the beneficial bacteria along with fiber. So in order to have the most diversity, we need the most variety. And you don't get fiber from meat, for poultry, from eggs. You get them from plant foods. And that's what's missing, 87.5%. That's what's missing in our diet. And if you want to protect your brain from every brain issue, and that includes mood disorders like depression and anxiety, that includes dementia and Alzheimer's. And I'm telling you, we are just every 4 seconds somebody's being diagnosed with dementia. It is epidemic. We can trace, and there's no medicine, there's no surgery, there's no chemo, there's no modality that will treat dementia and in its worst form, Alzheimer's, but we can prevent it. It is totally preventable, and we can turn off the genes. Even if you have the Alzheimer's gene, the ApoE3, you can still turn it off by causing the transcription of the gene that is protective. And the way to do that is to eat plant foods, plant foods, plant foods. You cannot eat enough of those. So that's your message right there. If you want to prevent brain dysfunction or brain disorders, and we're talking about many of these that are felt to be autoimmune, like multiple sclerosis, Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS, Parkinson's, so many that are directly related to our immune system. So it's autoimmune related, and 85% of the immune cells and the immune function in our body is found in our gut. They're found in the lining of the gut, and even the hormones for the brain, serotonin and dopamine, the majority of those are developed, produced in the gut, because your gut is also called your second brain. It's where 70% of all your brain cells, your neurons, are located. So we could all benefit by supporting our brain cells. And I know y'all have heard of DHA. That's one of the omega fats that it's found in our omega blend, along with ALA and along with EPA. These can be found in plant foods, and they are, and especially algae, and that's what's in our omega blend. But all of these are not only healthy fats that reduce inflammation, but they also protect our brain when they're in the right balance. So everything in the body needs to be balanced. When we're talking about gut health and we talk about leaky gut is also called gut permeability. And it just is an imbalance favoring the wrong bacteria, the non-beneficial bacteria. But when we can get our entire body in what's called homeostasis. That's where everything is in harmony and everything is balanced. And the way to do that literally is to give up these um, inflammatory foods that contribute to inflammation, contribute to this gut imbalanced bacteria. And when we can get in that state of homeostasis, then we have mental clarity, we have a brain that's functioning, we have markedly decreased the risk of any and all neurodegenerative issue, period. And it's so simple. But we're talking prevention. We're not talking that Juice Plus will fix these problems, although if anything can fix or reverse these issues, it's eating a predominant plant-strong diet. So that's my 20 minutes. I'm going to stop and see who maybe has a question.
I have one person on here who just messaged me. Could you tell us how Juice Plus could help with arthritis?
Sure. Arthritis is inflammation in our joint spaces. And our joints have, some joints have cushions in there, like cartilage. And some have cushions in there, like the disc in your back that support the space between your spines. But the majority of the joint spaces don't have a large amount of cartilage. So the idea is you want to reduce inflammation in the first place. So we know that there are things that we can do that contribute to inflammation. And one of those is repetitive use. People that work in factories that are constantly doing the same motion 8 or 10 or 12 hours a day, they're overusing these joints, and that leads to arthritis. But the big thing is, and we control this, it's the foods that we eat that either contribute to inflammation or that reduce inflammation. So again, I hate to keep beating this drum, but it is plant food. It is plant food that is anti-inflammation.
Right. Cool. Anybody else have any questions?
I do.
Okay. Leslie?
Leslie, yeah. Dr. Odom, you touched on it. I take care of my mom who's been diagnosed with pseudo dementia. And we started Juice Plus about, I think it's been 5 weeks now. And I think I heard you say it just prevents that, or did I misunderstand that?
Well, even if caught early, we can reverse cancer if we catch it early.
Okay.
But we can't say eating plant food is going to reverse cancer, or taking or consuming Juice Plus is going to reverse cancer.
Okay.
If there's any one thing that will, it is plant food. And the books that have been written on reversing cancer, regardless of the type, the common thread in all of them is plant food. You cannot eat enough fiber. You cannot eat enough anti-inflammatory foods that reduce, it's called oxidative stress, another word for chronic inflammation. It's too many free radicals, and the way to reduce free radical damage is from antioxidant consumption. So free radicals are compounds missing an electron. Antioxidants are compounds that donate electrons. So where do you find the majority of antioxidants? Over 99.9% of all of them, we can't say all, but most of them come from plant food. Another side benefit of reducing inflammation, and chronic inflammation is what causes these issues for us, whether it's the inflammation in our joint space or the inflammation in our brain, the inflammation that affects our body in whatever form.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. And I know one thing I wanted to say about the oxidative stress. As a fitness instructor, I was working out all the time, and that creates more free radicals. So sometimes if I do a lot in a day, I will double up my Juice Plus, because it's proven, we have studies that it does reduce the inflammation. So I just take extra when I'm feeling extra stress. And if I do feel a cold coming on, which that hasn't happened in a long time, thank God. But I know that does help. And the more you take Juice Plus, the more plant food you want to eat. And I know, yeah, Debbie's shaking her head. Yeah, she just showed a picture of all her food. She's like, I want all these vegetables. What's going on? So it really does, it just all works together, because you crave what you eat, what you put in your body. So I just had to throw that in. Any other questions?
Some of you may have heard me say that you crave what you eat, because if you're eating donuts and cookies, you're feeding the wrong bacteria. And the wrong bacteria are the ones that are sending the signals, the messages to your neurons to send you more. Give me more of that sugar load. On the other hand, if you're eating plant food, you're going to be feeding the beneficial bacteria. They're going to be pushing out those non-beneficial. You're going to have more strong messages saying, send me more plant food, send me more of that green heavy stuff, give me the real nutrition. I want it. And the best example of that in my mind is when we have children that are on the Healthy Starts for Children, and they don't know this, but they're, over time, they start asking, yes, can I have a salad?
Yeah.
Can I have green beans? Can I have the broccoli? Can I eat off the Tower Garden? Can I have more of that raw kale or spinach?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It's
pretty
a
awesome.
strong subliminal message coming from the right bacterial balance. But we have to fix that. It doesn't just happen. You can't take a medicine. You can't take a steroid. You can't take antibiotics. You can't eat a candy bar and just expect it to change. It's plant food over time. It's fiber. It's what's missing. But if you want to fix any brain issue, start with fiber.
Mm-hmm. And those phytonutrients that are found in the fiber. Absolutely. Does anybody else have a question? Awesome. Well, if you do think of something later, hey, Sally Beth, you look pretty. If you do have a question, feel free to reach out to me or whoever invited you to this call. I always like to make sure we do have private Facebook groups. If you want to be in the private Facebook group, where we like to just constantly share recipes, healthy living tips, information to help you live a healthier life. It's free. You don't have to buy anything. But we do want to make sure you know, too, about the Healthy Living Revolution. Gay asked a question where you can find recipes and things. It's totally free to everybody. It's called healthylivingrevolution.com. There are recipes in there. There's webinars. If you like to learn this type of thing, there are lots of great webinars. There's a section just how to have healthy kids. I know some of us, like Margaret, probably got started for her daughter. Really, you wanted your daughter to be healthier. And a lot of times that's what makes us want to be healthy, is get our kids healthier. So we have that section. There's also workouts. If you want to do workouts at home, you need some fresh ideas, we've got that there for you too. And also, I want to make sure everybody knows, if you want to get started with Juice Plus today, we can help you. It only takes about 5 minutes. And if you have a child age 4 to 18 or an undergrad in college, they get the fruit juice. I'm talking backwards now. The Juice Plus, they get fruits and veggies free for up to 4 years. They have to be old enough to do the study. It's just a simple list of questions, how many days of school they've missed, things like that. And you'll start to see, when you do those questions over time, how their health improves. It's pretty amazing. And Dr. Odom was on the board to help get that started. So we're really excited about that. And then we also have a really cool promotion for those that do the Healthy Starts in June. So make sure to ask about that. Whoever invited you here, it's really exciting. And we want to help the whole family get healthier, honestly. And then the other option for you is to join our mission. If you have other people you would like to share this with, we always invite you to learn more. So just ask about that. It's a wonderful way to not only change your life, but others as well. And we're looking for new partners because, you know, we don't know everybody. The more people we can share this mission with, the better. So I know I'm talking with Barbara about that now, and it's just a wonderful way. Also, the company will pay you to share with others. So that's always nice. And we just want everybody to be happy and healthy and be blessed. You know, we're blessed to be a blessing. So don't hold it back. Just share what you know. And I hope this helps everybody. And y'all know what I need now is a picture. I love my picture. So if you'll show your face, some of you who are hiding back there, if you don't want to show your face, that's okay. I'll give you a cartoon. So y'all know you have to look on my Instagram stories to see the cartoon. All right, 1, 2, 3. Thank you guys so much. Thank y'all for joining. This means a lot to me. It is Brain Tumor Awareness Month, and we just want to educate and inspire everybody to make a change in your life. All right, guys. Bye.
Angel.
Thank you.
Angel.
Thank
Angel.
you, guys. Yes.
How do we get the recording for a friend who couldn't make it today?
Oh, thank you. I'm going to put it on my YouTube channel, and I will share the link.
Okay.
All right.
And you'll share that on your Facebook page?
I'll put it in our private group, and I'll make sure you get it. Don't worry. You're in my
Okay.
private group. Yeah. Healthy for
I think
Life.
so.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Mwah. Bye. Thank you
Bye-bye.
for joining. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Thanks for joining.